Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, Blue Marble Riders. I have just made one of the most amazing upgrades to this motorcycle, Z900RS, but you can make this upgrade to any motorcycle. And in my opinion, it's probably the biggest upgrade you can make to any motorcycle. So what is it you can do to any motorcycle that will probably be the biggest upgrade to it? For me, it's tires, and it always has been. I must say the Z900RS was shod with the worst tires of any bike I've ever had the misfortune to rest my buttocks on. Now this is a lovely bike, but the tires it comes with did it no justice at all. And if you go onto the forums, I don't think I'm alone there. I think nearly everybody will say the same thing. Well, I'm pleased to say I finally got rid of them. Woohoo! Fantastic! And what a difference. Really, really good upgrade. Almost equivalent to Ivan's Reflash. So I'll tell you what I went with in a minute, but first of all, the shortcomings of the stock OEM tires. While some bikes come shod nicely, the tires the Kawasaki Z900RS came with, in my case, this was back in 2018, they may have changed them since then, and I certainly hope they have. Let me know in the comments below if they haven't, is the Dunlop Sportmax, I think it's called. What a shocking tire. What a shocking traffic jam. What on earth is going on? It should make it easy for me to blend, I guess. Construction on the only part of the island highway that has no alternative route. And why don't we do it in summer when everybody's visiting? Ugh, I guess I'm not alone in thinking my jurisdiction is just up the creek with their planning. Really, the whole island highway is shut down because someone wants internet? I really think that probably we could have done that at night. It's been like this all day, by the way. Rant over, moving back onto the tires. They came with the bike, and I thought initially, well, it's just a release compound. Well, I can tell you right now, the release compound on those Dunlops never seemed to go, and I'm pulling your leg on that one, folks. It was that the compound was dreadful, but worse than that, the carcass was so hard on that tire. So with both a hard carcass and a hard compound, that tire tended to make the bike feel very skittery in all conditions. I mean, it was 40 Celsius here not so long ago, and I was still locking the back brake up when changing down with a slipper clutch. The tires had absolutely no security, no grip, and they shimmied back to you every single imperfection in the road. You could feel the bike skittering at times. It was like riding on wood. Frankly, I can't believe that Kawasaki sold the bike with those tires on. They didn't do themselves any favors. I went out on a November day and I enjoyed the handling, but I didn't push it because it was a cold November day, and I remember thinking, yeah, the tires really aren't coming up to temperature today, but well, who can blame them? It's November, and it's you know, I think it was 11, maybe 9 Celsius, something like that. And I remember thinking, well, yeah, OEM tires are never very good. These are probably no exception, but never very good is a far cry from absolutely abysmal, and I would actually say dangerous, and I have evidence for it. There is one listener to my channel, and I believe you are in Germany if you're listening. Sorry, I can't remember your name right now, but you got in contact with me saying you were out with your wife. I believe she was on a Triumph. I could be wrong, but I believe she was on a Triumph behind you. It was a cold, wet day, and you were not doing any spectacular speed, and you leaned into a corner and the front end just went away from you. Yeah, I've had that near sensation several times. I think you said it was a sort of 10 Celsius degree day, something like that, nothing too cold. I did give you some advice to change the tires because I happen to have heard from a lot of people who have complained about the same thing on this bike. So consequently, I have finally upgraded. I had to do my V-Strom. I'd gone through the rear tire on that one, so decided at the same time, just bite the bullet, take both bikes in. Not at the same time, obviously, but as close together as possible. Ordered the tires, maybe get a discount, and I did get a discount thanks to my local dealer. And yes, I'm going to give them a plug. Mile Zero, best dealer around. You know, they work on anything. Ducati, Kawasaki, not just Suzuki and Husqvarna and whoever else they plug there. They work on anything, and they do a darn job, and your bike's usually washed at the end of it too. They also put some 45-degree valve stems on this bike. Oh, what a relief. I can now check the pressures with ease without bloodying my knuckles. That's another area that Kawasaki should have definitely improved. I go on now to what I've bought. It came from me from having experience with them, and I went with what I know and pretty well the best tire I've ever ridden with in mixed conditions. I've ridden with these tires and I ride with them all year in soaking wet, 3-4 degrees Celsius weather, right up to 44 in Oregon, and they have never once so much as squiggled. Not only that, they lasted on my V-Strom as long as the OEM tire did, and that was the, was it a Bridgestone Trail Wing? You know what, I'll stick it up there. That lasted 17,000 kilometers, but after 12,000 kilometers it was absolutely awful. It was a terrible tire. It had been really good up until then. I have to say, I didn't know what the complaints were about until I hit about 12,000 kilometers, and something happens to the compound on those. So I replaced it with a Michelin Road 5 on the rear and on the front. What a difference. And those things lasted on the rear 17,000 kilometers, 2 up 2/3 of the time. 2/3 of the mileage on them were 2 up. That is simply amazing. So given that, that's what I've shod this tire with. And how does it feel, BMR? Well, I'll tell you how it feels. It's absolutely spectacular. This tire has transformed the bike. The carcass is softer. The compound feels softer, although I know it's going to last. And now, while I know what I'm riding on, I don't get every tremble, and it is not nervous anymore. The bike bites into the road and pushes back at you. Newton's law, remember, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction? Well, every time you turn into a corner and you put a little bit of trail braking on, you can feel it pushing back at you. Never got that with the last bunch. The security on this just feels great. Not only that, because the carcass is perhaps just a little softer, the the rear shock doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as it does with the stocks on there. It doesn't bang you up the rear end, and the front doesn't bang you all over the place either. It just feels far more compliant. So the tires feel compliant, give you much better feedback, and stick like you know what on a doorknob. Highly recommended. They are expensive, and many of you will have alternative suggestions. Please give them down below, because it has actually started into a bit of a forum for some people. I get a lot of people asking me questions, and I'll often refer them to other people's comments about what it is they've got. Now, before I leave the video, I will say this. I'm going to flash up on the screen, and now it's in German. I cannot find an English one, an English language one, but for whatever reason, this is an awesome graphic, and it goes right through the Road 5 series, or the Michelin 5 series. What, BMR, if I want to go racing? Or what if I'm a warmer climate than you and it never gets that cold in the winter and it's pretty dry? They have about 5 different tires in this series, right from racing slicks all the way down to mine, which is the Road 5 cold, sort of temperate climate tire. Excellent for rain. What do I do then? What I'll try to do is put on the, or you can do a Google Translate, but kalt means cold, right? So you should be able to go through there and see what sort you want, whether you want something for rain, whether you want something for completely dry conditions, whether you want something for the track, whether you want something a little racier than what I've got on here. 1 notch up, still okay in the cold, a little better in the hot apparently, although I've never had any problem, and a few less sipes on it so you stick even more. I'll put that up, and if it hasn't been up already, I'll put it up now, and hopefully you can take a look at that. Thanks again for watching, folks. Thanks very much. I really appreciate your input. Keep subscribing if you're new. I do all sorts of things. Take a look at my playlists, take a look at my past videos, road reviews, tours, product reviews, you name it. Just good old-fashioned vlogs sometimes. Sometimes just review on motorcycle history, things I enjoy about motorcycles. Yes, the channel's for you, but it's also for me, and sometimes I do things that might be a bit boring for some people. Skip it. Find something you're interested in. I really appreciate your feedback. Cheers. Blue Marble Rider out. Come on, come on. Good girl.
Once again, thanks for watching everyone. If this is the first time you've watched, please consider subscribing. I do product reviews, motorcycle reviews, off-road and on-road vlogs, as well as tours. Don't forget to follow me on social media, that's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and to like, and especially, I'm begging you here folks, subscribe. This is the Blue Marble Rider, out.